Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of the BRI, which is the Black Research Institute, committed to solving the problems. Tonight, I got a very special guest here tonight, and it's a young lady I've been knowing for a couple of years now, known her through her mother, and watched her go through her journey of the different type of professions and industries that she has been engaged in, and watched her resilience and how she has never given up on what she wants to do, and I applaud her for that, and I commend her for that. I'm gonna give you a little intro about her, and then I'm gonna bring her on to the stream. So when we come back, we're gonna bring Miss Sydney Nicole. We'll be right back. Hello, Sydney.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, and yourself?
I'm doing great. I cannot complain.
All right, first of all, let me say thank you for agreeing to do the interview. It is, not many people would even take a chance with doing the interview with such a new show, but I I know you did the interview because you wanted to do the interview with me, but if you wouldn't have did it, I would have called your mother and told her that you you didn't want to do the interview with me.
I'm honored. Like, I'm so honored. And it doesn't matter if you're new, if you've been in the game forever. Like, I love what you're doing. And I always have like having conversations with you because your mind is going other places and you always challenge the conversation. So I'm very excited to be here and I'm grateful. So thank you. Okay. You didn't have to call my mom.
Okay. All right. Before we get into the mental jousting, let the people know a little bit about Sydney Nicole.
Well, as you guys know, my name is Sydney Nicole. I'm born and raised in Gastonia, North Carolina. And I spent the majority of my years in Kings Mountain, and I moved back to Gastonia around my senior year of high school. I am an entrepreneur. I am a host, a speaker, a fashion model. I am so many things. God has really gave me a lot of gifts, and I'm just very excited to live them out and see how they continue to unfold. I am the youngest out of two siblings, and I am an aunt, expecting a boy, a nephew soon, so I'm so excited. But I'm just on my journey of becoming, and I love it here. I love it here.
Okay. All right. Now, before we get into the meat of the conversation, so when I initially was introduced to you, you were modeling, right? Mm-hmm. So how long did you model?
Oh my gosh. My parents had my sister and I in modeling probably around the age of 6 or 7. And for me, I loved it. Like it just, from the very beginning, I knew that was something that I wanted to do like forever. And my sister, not so much. She probably did it for like 2 years and then was out of there. But it stuck with me. So I've been modeling for 29, I'd probably say 23 years now, just total.
Wow.
Yeah, on and off 23.
You're a real professional model then.
I like to think so. I still have heights to go, but I'm enjoying the journey. It's definitely been a journey, but I'm enjoying it.
Now, what is your most memorable moment in modeling? Like, out of all the things you've done, what would be your most memorable moment?
Oh my goodness, I have so many. But
you have one that sticks out. There's one that sticks out.
so there's one that sticks out. One that sticks out because it was the reason why I stopped modeling for a while, and then there's one that sticks out that just really just put the light back into it for me. So I'll tell you.
About both of them. Tell me about both of them.
I'll tell you about both of them. So the one I can remember that made modeling, that made me stop modeling for a while, was when I was going to Clark Atlanta, and it was probably around 2010, 2011, and they had a model call on campus. And so I decided to go, and I did not know that it was a test shoot model call for Vibe magazine. And so when I went there, they loved me. One of the photographers was Derek Blanks, and at that time, Derek Blanks was just like the most, oh my God, he was the biggest photographer in Atlanta, and he probably still is. But I met him, and I had my hair cut like in a mohawk, and it was red and black. A lot of people probably still remember that style. And they was like, "Is that your hair? Oh God, we want you." And so I got chosen on the spot. And so the next day I went to set, and I mean, they treated me like royalty. I just loved it. I was like, oh, I had this in the bag. I just knew I had it in the bag. And as we went throughout the day, the shoot had ended, and they were wanting us to wait by the phone and, get a call and see if we got called back. I did not get a call back. And so what I decided to do is contact the casting agent, and I was like, hey, I didn't go to call. She's like, yeah. She said, we decided not to go with you because, your skin isn't in the condition that we want it to be in. And it will require too much editing. So we're just going to pass on you. And that was all she gave me. So I felt very defeated. I felt very defeated in that moment. And I was just like, maybe I should give up. Because at this point, I'm doing the best that I can. But if they're dropping us off like that, I don't want to move forward. So I stopped modeling that year, and I did not start modeling again until 2018. I had a huge gap, and I would convince myself that it was just like, oh, that season's passed. I'm not doing it anymore. And then 2018, I had received a word that, I had been called to be a model. And, at that point, I was just like, that's why I haven't been able to shake it. No matter how much I've tried to convince myself, I just haven't been able to shake it. And so I went to another open call for a modeling agency, and they were doing it for a competition that they hold in New York City every year called IMTA, which is International Modeling Talent Agents Association around the world. And so I decided that I would get back into modeling then and just, go to compete. So I ended up competing last year, 2019, and I competed against thousands of women across the world. I mean, women from Asia, Africa, all over. And I ended up winning second runner-up Lifestyle Model of the Year. And I took the title for On Camera Hoes. I won. And at that moment, it took me to that place where I was in 2010, where I didn't feel good enough. And then in that moment, I was like, I'm called for this. I'm worthy of this, and I'm qualified for this. And I've just been moving forward ever since. And it's just been amazing. It's been amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what we were talking about in the green room earlier, the gift and the curse, in one particular thing, you know what I mean? Like in one particular thing, that is, but I'm glad that, that, you heeded the call, because a lot of us, we will hear the call, but we're comfortable where we are.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
we're comfortable where we are. And the call, even though it's a call, but you also know that call it ain't gonna be easy.
No.
Right.
No.
It's not gonna be.
It's not.
It's not gonna be as easy as working this 40 hours a week.
Absolutely. Right. That's comfortable.
It's not gonna be easy as that. So I'm glad you did. But when you were doing the competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not now, but early on when you were modeling, because right now, blackness is in vogue.
Right.
Right now it's in vogue right now. But like in earlier years, did you feel any, I ain't gonna say Well, did you feel any discrimination in the industry because you were black?
Yeah, and I've had experiences, maybe one or two, about my skin color, and it really puts you in a place, and that's why we have to be so careful about the things that we consume in our minds, because we can end up talking ourselves into things that's not really real. And so at that time where I was like, oh, you're too dark for this. Like, we need you to be a little bit lighter. And my situation is my face and my neck is dark, and like the rest of my body is lighter. And so I've had people who wanted to lighten up my face, and I'm just like, I'm okay with the fact that I'm like I'm different skin tone. Like, I'm okay with that. But looking at it now and where I am in my journey, like we were talking about in the green room earlier, is I've completely separated myself from qualifying being in certain places because I'm black. A lot of people say, "Oh, now's the time for black people." So yes, you're gonna make it because you're black. Your business is gonna make it because you're black, because everybody's pro-black now with everything that's going on in society. And I'm trying to, within my own mind, remove myself completely from that, because my skin color doesn't qualify or disqualify me from something. It's the call on my life. It's the spirit of God within me that has chosen me to be in that particular place, not because of my own choosing, because he's called me there, and it's greater than me. And so that's how I see it now, is if I go into a room and you don't think I'm right for the job, okay, I'm not right for the job, but I'm not going to look at it as if, oh my God, I'm black, or, oh my God, something's wrong with my skin. Like, that basically waters me down, and I have to stay potent, because I know that I'm a power. I know that I'm a force, and wherever I'm going to be, I'm going to shine, and my light is going to be able to permeate in rooms in ways that I can even imagine right now. So, I have had those experiences, and unfortunately they're still real. But my goal for the industry is to go into it and really help transform that whole mindset, that whole process, that you're not good enough because you're black, or you're not the right shade of black, because they have that light skin versus dark skin thing going too. So
Mhm.
it's really just reprogramming everything and understanding the depths of what this really is.
Right. Well, I kind of I always say I'm not a black business owner. Like, I've
Right.
always say that I'm a black man with a business. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
right. So, and then, like, even if you want to try to deny me, or you not use my services because I'm black,
Right.
if I were so good that you couldn't deny me,
Right.
right? Like, if my graphics were so good that you couldn't deny me, that's when, like, my blackness don't even matter.
It doesn't.
It,
It's
it,
a
it doesn't even
gift.
matter. So I tell my son all the time. I was like, look, there are gonna be some people who judge you by your skin color, right?
Yep.
Like, that be even some people that look like you.
Right. Right.
you know,
That's a fact. That's a fact.
but but if you are the best representative of yourself, they can't deny you. Like, they can't deny you. You know what I mean? And he was like, "What you mean, Dad?" And I tell him, I say, "Look, just be the best representative of yourself. Right? Just don't try to be what you think somebody else wants you to be. Don't try to be what you think you should be. Be your best self.
Absolutely.
Be your best authentic self. Because
Absolutely.
because ultimately, the reason why people categorize other people and put them in a box, right? Because that box allows them the ability to, how can I say it, or identify them quickly,
Right.
right? Like, to identify
Right.
them is like boom. But without that box, you got to get to know somebody. Like, without that box, you got to
Mhm.
actually get to know that person.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of times we put people in the box just to ease our mind and not really knowing that person. So,
Yeah. Being comfortable. Yeah.
right. So being your authentic self. But when you experience the discrimination in the modeling field, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that feeling like?
Defeat. It felt like I wasn't good enough. And then the thing about it is, of course, I wasn't where I am right now, and I was younger. And so you already see all these things going on in this world where, Black people are inferior. Like we're at the bottom of the barrel. We get picked last. And so to have that going on, and then to have that mixture of, being in this place and doing what you love, and then having it come at you double time, it feels like defeat.
Right.
So it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good at all. And so that it was just, and you think about it and you say, wow, like there are young girls, who, and this is why I studied it for so long. This is why you see so many young women killing themselves, because they get to a point in their career where someone has told them that they weren't good enough. And so they did everything they could to be good enough to qualify them in front of that person who might have torn them down by whatever they spoke or whatever it might have been. There's suicides happening constantly in the industry. And a lot of times it's not seen because it's not televised, that those things get shut down, but they're happening. This is why, models are turning to drugs, because they're trying to be a certain size, or they're turning to alcohol, or, they're subjecting themselves, their own bodies, on the couch of the casting agent, because they think that's the only thing that is able to get them in the room. And so when you're a little girl and you hear that you're Black or you're too dark, the first thing that comes up in your mind is, what do I have to do to qualify myself? Because at that time, I didn't know that I had already been qualified, and I don't need to do anything extra. It just is what it is. I have to wait for my time. So now it's not about my color. It's not about, what you think I am or am not. It's about, no, it's just not my time. That door is going to open. And when it opens, you can't shut it. And that's a confidence that I want to carry into the industry and show these young girls, even young guys who are in the modeling industry, anywhere really, that this isn't what it is. It's not. But at that time, it felt like defeat in its worst way.
It's crazy how we have taken the word model and and separated it from, regular human beings. You're like, are you a model? Like, but in essence, right?
Yeah.
In essence, because there's 8 billion people in the world, 8 billion different people in the world.
Different, yeah.
Everybody is a model.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Like everybody is a model, right? Like because everyone is unique, right? So it's crazy how we done took that word and just made it like just separate, and like I don't like when they put labels like contour model, or oversized model, or a hand model. No, you're not. No, that's a hand. Everyone has that's your model hand. Like, you know what I mean? That's your model of hand.
Like, I am the model. Like,
Right.
this is just the part of the body.
Right.
It blows my mind, just because they've done it so much. They've gotten to where it used to just be a specific type of model. You're either runway, you're a fashion model, that's the only model that really mattered. Anything outside of that, like if you were a sample model, you weren't known to be a model. You were just behind the scenes, unless you were gracing magazine covers, right, or showing your hands with all the diamonds and walking the runway shows for Dolce & Gabbana or all these other amazing designers. You were not important. But what I can say, there has been some growth, but there's a lot more diversity there. Like for me, I would be considered a lifestyle model or a print model, a commercial model. What are those factors? My measurements, how old are you? Because at a certain point, at a certain age, you can't do a particular type of modeling. Like, oh, you're over 18. Oh, you don't dare try to go overseas or over, and try to walk the runway. Like, no, we can't do that.
Now that's predatory too. That's predatory. Like, that's predatory.
And you think about it, you're like, wait, what? Like, you see like, look at Naomi Campbell. Look at all these beautiful models. Like they're in their senior, even though they've done it for years, they're in their senior. But whatever that's considered, your senior. But they're still doing it. So it's just like, where is this? Like, who is making this stuff up, and who is making this a part of this community? I don't understand. Like, where is this stuff coming from?
And the crazy part about it is, it's coming from the mind of somebody.
Yes, the mind of somebody.
It's coming from the mind of somebody.
And it's echoing, and it's echoing, and it's dynamic. It's a dynamic echo.
And and the reason why it's echoing, because when it's not just talking and you hearing noise, it's putting some money behind it. You know what I mean? Like, it's they putting some money behind it. So let's say, I am one of the Rothschilds, and I want to put this young lady in this magazine. Who gonna and she may not be the most attractive young lady, but who gonna tell me no? Ain't nobody gonna tell me no. But putting that lady in the magazine, right?
Right.
And so many people seeing that magazine, you set a standard now, right? Like you set a standard. Like, and I always say this, like, once they start letting Beverly Johnson and walk down the catwalk, once they started that, there was no turning back from that. Right? Because for a long time they didn't allow black people to walk the catwalk, right? But once they did, like, you done open the box. You can't close the box. Like, now it's gonna be a flood, because now the world has got a glimpse of another kind of beauty, right? Like, another kind of beauty, and now that beauty ain't so foreign to them now. Like, it ain't harsh, because you presented it in a way that is acceptable for us, and now we want more. Like we want more of that. We want more of that, and that just goes to show that everybody's a model. Like, everybody is a model.
You're a model when it comes to graphic designing and what your gifts are. Any person that has a gift, they're a model of that gift, because it's going to be it's going to be done so uniquely different. And I think that's so beautiful, because it's just the multi-dimensions. Like, it's just the dimensions of God and who he is within us. And I think that's the most powerful thing in the world. And if we can separate ourselves from the external factors and really begin to look at ourselves like, I have this gift. I didn't decide that I was going to be a model. I didn't decide that I was going to be 5'11". I didn't decide, all these different things about me. That wasn't up to me. I was just born into this. But it's not about how I'm made. It's what's inside of me that makes me. And I want to shift that whole thing. Like, okay, you see, like, I don't want black girls just to desire to be a model because they see another black girl. No, I want you to identify your gifts, because maybe you weren't called to be a model. Maybe you were called to be a photographer. Maybe it's just really switching it so people can start to move in their purpose and not identifying what they're supposed to do based off what they see because of their skin color. That then sets us on a different path. We have to get out of that mind frame.
Well, as I told you in the green room, like, that mind frame, getting out of that mind frame is a process of inspiration. Like for people to walk a certain path, they have to be inspired. And in order for them to be inspired, they have had to witness it somehow. Like somehow they had to witness it. Maybe not see it, but experience it or whatever. But it had to be impactful on their life to make them say, "This is what I'm gonna do," or "This is what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do this anymore." Right. So. And as I told you, that's the purpose of this broadcast, like, just to show the different array of talented individuals that we have within this ethnicity, so that other people can say, well, Sydney, she's a model. I may not be 5'11", but she tell me I got an inner strength. So, that's what I want to do. I'm going to try it. And if that's not, you know what I mean? Because Sydney did it. She's from little old Gastonia.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's all about inspiration. And I
Yeah.
think like for a long time, our only inspirations have been entertainers and athletes for a
Yeah.
long time. Like our only like inspiration have been entertainers and athletes, and because of
Yeah.
that has been the bulk of us.
You're right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, that has
Right.
been like you ask a little kid, what do you want to be? I want a little young boy. I want to be a basketball player, or I want to be a
Yeah.
rapper, right?
Right.
Like with me, I went 12 years in school from first grade to 12th grade, and I had one black teacher.
Wow.
One. So why would I want to be a teacher? Like I wouldn't want to be a teacher.
But what if you had a desire to be a teacher, but because you didn't see someone that looked like you dismissed that desire?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the part that really scared. That's the part I wouldn't say scares me, but that's really what triggers me to the point where if that desire is in you, one, that desire didn't just come from you. You didn't make that up. We can't
Right.
make stuff up. So if you
Right.
have that desire, but then you get to where you go through your journey of school and you say, "Oh wow, there's only one black teacher, so maybe this isn't real for me. This isn't
The world
realistic for me."
the world suffocates it.
Absolutely. There's such a
Right.
suffocation to our purpose. And it's just like, that's the one thing I want to just stand on top of a mountain and yell. If the desire is there, go for it. If you see me as an example going for what I know I've been called to do the same thing in your own perspective, like your own respective calling. Absolutely. Go for it. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in a boardroom and you're the only woman. That doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be there.
Right.
That just
Hey,
means that that's you aligning with what you're called to do.
hey, Sydney. I'm a black man who does graphic designs. That's an anomaly. Right? Like and I've been doing it for almost 20 years. Like, so it's my friend told me, Scotty Edwards, my friend told me, he said, Deanie, whenever you decide to do something, you just do it. Like there's no fear in your mind that it might not work. Cause I don't. Because even if it don't work, I learned something.
Absolutely. You can't fail at anything. Absolutely.
Like I learned something. And I'm the type of person, if something gets on me, I may fight it for a while. Like I fight it,
Yeah.
I fight it. But then eventually it's like you gotta do it.
You
Like
got to. Because
right.
you lose. You end up losing that battle. You lose.
Right. Like
It bothers you
you gotta do it.
internally
Like
until you do it.
you could try to go, you could try to jump on the ship and go to another country like Jonah all you want,
Yeah.
but eventually you gotta do it, right? You have to do it.
Yep.
So now that you're still modeling,
Mhm.
but I came to your mother's house, which she had invited me and my wife over, and we ate some of your mother's excellent cuisine. You know,
She's a
Karen can
bomb
cook,
cook.
man.
Yes, she can
Karen can
cook.
cook.
I
Karen
have a
can
great
cook.
teacher. Yes, she can
Right.
cook.
Karen can cook. But and you and I, we were in the kitchen and we were talking, and you was like, I got my own clothing brand. And I was like, your own clothing brand, you need to hit me up. Like, we need to do some things. This was voodoo, what?
Yeah, that was wow. That was voodoo chic.
Exactly. I'm telling you. Voodoo
Oh
chic.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yes. 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 So, and I was all excited. I'm excited because weren't you in Atlanta?
Yep, I was. And I
Yep.
told
You
you, yep.
you yeah you in Atlanta, right? So I was all excited because I do this and she down in the ATL. I might get some business popping on it, and you never hit me up, and I was sort of sad, but it was okay. It was I figured. You got down there Atlanta, and you start dealing with the Atlanta designers, and maybe
Oh,
something.
I did. It went flat.
Okay.
It went completely flat, and it was because it was supposed to go flat. I was
Right.
I had created a clothing line out of survival. You know, I had moved to Atlanta. I had a dream. I wanted to be, I mean, fashion has always been my world. I mean, ever since I was a little girl, fashion was just my thing. And so I went to Atlanta initially at, of course, school. And then I went and I was a celebrity wardrobe stylist assistant. And then I started my clothing line because I ended up working like in the same office that my boss was in. The stylist was a brand called Cupcake Mafia. And so I
Mhm.
worked with her and her brand, and you know, just seeing her and like seeing all the money that was being made, I was just like, oh, I can do this. And just to have somebody like her as a mentor, I was just like, I'm doing it. And when I started, I was just like, it didn't feel right, but I was doing it again because I was trying to survive. I was trying to make money. I was trying to
Okay.
stay in this place that I thought I was supposed to be. And you know, as time goes on, you learn very quickly.
Right.
but
Right.
but nothing is wasted. Nothing is ever wasted, and I've learned that. But it was a stepping stone to I created another brand, which is Bougie and Uninterested, and that brand I created when I lived in Durham. Yeah, when I lived in Durham, and that, you know, that lasted me for 2 years, and that was a great experience. It did really well, but you know, I had also received a word like that the name of my clothing brand was going to change. You know, my leaders had spoke to me. It's like, yeah, it's going to change. And so at that time I was like, change to what? Like,
Right.
I didn't know, like, what does that even mean? And
Right.
so, you know, now we're here. What is this, a year and a half later, and it has
Mm.
changed. um, and so it's just one of those things where you really have to stick to your journey. You really have to. You might not understand in the moment, and you might feel like a failure in the moment, but if you stick with it, you'll start to see how everything has its place and how everything really ties into that one moment, that final moment. And now I'm standing here and I'm just like, I'm like you. I thought like when I've always wanted to have a clothing line. And the previous two I did on my own. I wanted it to like how it looks now. I wanted it to look like that. But this one is for me a beautiful challenge because it's requiring the real me, not the ideal of who I'm supposed to be, not the ideal that I'm trying to paint to other people. This is the real me. This is a message that is truly within me. And now I'm giving birth to it. And so it's completely different. And I just love it. And I love, you know, the promises that's spoken over it. And I'm really just embracing how it's all gonna unfold. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's like with me when I started doing graphic design, it's like you. I'm a Pisces, so it's easy for me to get bored with stuff, right?
Too.
Like it's easy for me to start something and be excited about starting it. Like I'm excited. Like yeah. Then after I started, it's like, man, I don't want to do this no more. I don't, I
Yes.
don't, I don't want to do
Yes.
this no more. But I done invested all this money. You know what I mean?
Gotta go with it.
I done invested all this money. So I got to do something, right? But with this graphic design business, it was like I I'm creative, right? So each project, what makes it exciting for me, each project is a blank canvas, right? So it's a perfect fit for me. Am I easily being bored because I'm starting anew every time I do a new project?
Right.
You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ain't just repetition, just doing the same
Duplicates.
thing. Oh,
Right.
right. Not it's not that. It's a new project. So it's perfect. Like it's perfect for me. Like, and I like helping people,
Yeah.
right? I initially got into graphic designs because I felt like Black people didn't understand the importance of marketing.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can have the best clothing brand in the world, but if don't no one
Mm-hmm.
know about it, it doesn't mean anything. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And and also they don't understand like you pay up front to get on the back end, right? And I always remember this, that McDonald's spends $1 billion a year just to advertise their dollar menu. Their dollar menu, right?
Yeah.
And as a business owner, you should understand that, like, look, I need people to know about me. Even before I get the high tech stuff in the shop. Like if I got people to know about me, right? If I got people to know about me, then they will finance all the buildings that I'm gonna do within my particular business. They will finance that, right?
Yeah.
But if I go in the red in the beginning, trying to make the best business and the the best boutique or whatever, and I go in the red doing that, I don't have any money to advertise.
You can't do that. You got to
prioritize. I call that hustling backwards.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
That's hustling backwards. So I got into it. So when you say, like, you've been through many different stages and you're here now, I get that.
Yeah.
Like I truly get that, because if you really want something, right? If you really want something, or not, let's not even say that. If you really supposed to be doing something.
There you go. Yeah.
Like if you're really supposed to be doing something, it's going to keep coming up in your life over and over and over again.
Over and over and over. Yeah.
It's going to keep coming up in some way, form. You can be, you ain't even modeling or thinking about, designing clothes, and you may put something on that you designed before and just going to Walmart and somebody say, hey,
yes.
You like, oh, this thing, I made this, threw this together. Oh, you should be designing. Right. You understand? Like, it's going to keep coming up. It's like, you remember, the Scrooge with, the Christmas past, and it's like the Scrooge visits you every so often and lets you know that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Let me remind you, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
It's so true. Around the time that that it was placed in my spirit to start Godly Luxury, which is my current clothing brand, I had many.
Wait a minute. Say that again, Sydney, because we've been talking about the brand and we haven't really introduced the brand. Like, see, this is what happens when we conversate. Like, this is when we converse. This is what happened. Like, we just talk, right? Yeah. So tell the people the brand again.
The name of my clothing brand is Godly Luxury, and it is a unisex clothing brand. So it is for men and women. I was very specific about it being men and women this time for so many reasons. But the last brand I had so many men asking me, when are you going to release men's stuff? When are you going to release men's? So I was just like, okay, this time I'm going to release men and women stuff. And it's just so much depth to it. There's such a great purpose over this clothing line that, I mean, even when it was released to me, I'm like, how in the world am I going to do this? I mean, literally, that was the first thing that came to mind was, how in the world am I going to do this? But the message of it was so powerful. And we think of luxury. We think of luxury. We think about designer stuff. We think about nice cars, big houses, lots of money. But we never think of what the luxury means in our divinity. And, what that quality looks like. Quality looks like, how do we speak to ourselves? What do our thoughts look like? How do we treat other people? And just the standard that God has established for us through his divine order and through his plan. And us following that creates us to be a quality people. And when we are a quality people, we become sought after without even trying to be. And so that's what Godly Luxury stands for. It's just really living up to who you are called to be, rising to the occasion of who you are every single day, not the person who the world has told you, not the person who grandma, mama, daddy, and all them other people have told you, but what has God spoken about you? And are you living according to that word? or the word that has been, duplicated and all these other things and by culture or this world. And that's what separates us. And I think just with that message alone, it is going to echo. And that's been my prayer. And I've been saying this a lot, that I am not a trend. I am a message. I'm not just another clothing line. This is a message. This clothing line has the ability and the power to transform the mind of this generation. And that's what I'm believing in itself. Now, I'm not in control. Just like you said, we're in the green room. We're not in control of the outcome, but I can do the work of what is required of me to do, and to put out these things and to design as these designs are given to me, and, just continue to flow out of my divinity so that I am the standard. I always say that I am the standard. And in order for other people, just like you said, to experience that within themselves, they have to see me living out of it. So your wife, who is also, Prophet Tracy, to me, my leader, she says this all the time. It starts at home first. You can't teach something that you're not. You can't live something that, expect someone to live according to what you're not. So I've been intentional about my journey, not so much trying to impose on other people, but setting the standard within myself and then flowing out of that. And that's what Godly Luxury is. So, yeah.
So with that testimony, that's what with that testimony right there, are you afraid that you may get boxed into being considered a Christian clothing line?
No, I've gotten to a place in my life where I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care. And that
because they try to label everything. Like everything has got to have a label, right?
Absolutely.
So
even in the process, I had to stop myself from, and there's nothing wrong with being labeled that. There's nothing wrong with being labeled.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't want it to be to where other people, I'm not qualified for that because, somebody in their mind, like, what if I'm not, whatever. I just believe that as I put out and as I do my work, the right people will be led to me. It's not so much about me attracting everybody, because I know I'm not for everybody. And I say it all the time. I am not for everybody. I'm not meant to be for everybody. But what's flowing out of me is meant for somebody. And that somebody in the right place and in the right time, they're going to connect to me. They're going to connect to this brand, and it's going to transform them wherever they are in their life. That's what I believe. What people say about it, how they take it, I don't have no control over that. And I put my energy toward things I can control. I can't control that. So I will remain full with the things that I can't, put that energy to what I can control. And what other people have to say, that's just what they have to say, and they're entitled to it. But that doesn't mean that I have to say it out of my own mouth or believe it about, say it, over what I have.
Like, I am bad at, I believe that you may think you're just saying words when you're speaking, right? But I think in a lot of cases, you are stating affirmations, and then your actions are confirmations of that affirmation. You know what I mean? So, like, I have a problem. Like, I used to tell people, yeah, I'm gonna come see you. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, I mean it. Like, I mean that I'm gonna go see them, but I never go see them. Like, I never go see them. Right. Now, not only am I like not keeping my word, but in their eyes, you're a liar. Right. But I'm not really a liar. I'm just a procrastinator. You know what I mean? So now when people ask me, right, I when they ask me to do something, I have a safeguard sitting. I'll be like, I try. I ain't gonna promise you nothing. I'm not gonna promise you.
I'll try means no.
It don't necessarily mean no, but it don't mean yes either. It doesn't mean yes either. Like, surprise if it happened. What I'm saying is if I don't know for certain that I am going to do it, I'm not going to commit to it.
You shouldn't.
Right? I'm not going to commit to it. And so when you say like you don't, listen to that, I don't listen to that. I don't listen to people. Like my wife will hear me, and some of my clients may call, and they may say, "Oh, you did such a great job. You're really good on what you do." And I like the compliment, but it ain't like, yeah,
validation.
Like this is, right. That's what I do. Like, and or on the opposite side of that, somebody say, "Man, that's ugly." All right,
That's your opinion. Like you're entitled to what you believe.
That's okay, but you pay for it. Like you pay, right? So but so I don't. It doesn't sway me either way, right? Like it doesn't sway me either way, as long as I am satisfied with it.
Yep.
If I know that I put my best effort in whatever project that I did for you, first of all, if you received it from me as a proof, I am satisfied with it. Because it's not going out of my office unless I am satisfied with it.
Right.
So I'm already satisfied with it. So what you say, whether it's for it or against it, ain't gonna matter. But because you are a paying client, I'm going to try to accommodate you.
Right. You receive the feedback. You definitely want to receive the feedback because, we can't look at ourselves sometimes. Sometimes we can, but sometimes it can be very difficult for us to see our own things. And so having it come from another person, you want to receive that feedback, but it's feedback. And you either align yourself with it to say, okay, that's something I could work on. Or it's just like, or you completely bucket and say, no, like, I'm just going to bucket this and like, I'm good where I'm at. And so it is just a place of like where you are and not needing for it to be validation. Because some people say, oh, they didn't like it. So, every other project or something you do after that, you're just always in your mind, like, is this good enough? Don't do that. Receive the feedback, allow it to be what it needs to be for what it is, but don't allow it to dictate every other move that you make moving forward. That's not healthy. That's not healthy at all.
So with the God Luxury, right?
Godly Luxury.
Godly Luxury. With Godly Luxury, are you the sole designer?
Yeah.
You are? So all the clothes are God Luxury by Nicole. Godly Luxury by
every design that's out right now. I designed it. Like I'll like I can get like little templates of t-shirts and I'll sketch on them because I can just see it. Like I'm a visionary, so I always see a design and then I try to put it down. Now I can't put them in a form of everything else, but I can get it out of me, as it flows through me. And I'm the core piece.
That's good. So what would you, and I know you don't like being put in a box because we talked about this extensively in the green room. So I know you don't like being put in the box, but if you had to define Godly Luxury as a clothing brand, which you do have to define it because it is a clothing brand.
Right. Yes, absolutely. There's a direction there. Yeah.
Right. So what would be the definition? Like, how would you describe it to someone?
It's luxury contemporary. Right now, we are at the foundation of it. So I'm starting with kind of like a luxury streetwear brand, because my own style, I'm very comfortable. I love comfortable, but I love my comfort to look nice. Like I like it to look expensive. And so that's the direction that I went in, even with, with the things that I make, our material is custom made. So it takes 3 months to construct the material that I even use for my clothing because I have it like a specific way I want it to wash. I always put myself in my consumer shoes. So like, when I wash this, do I want it to like peel? Do I want it to shrink? Do I want it to fade? No. So I have to really partner with my manufacturer and say, these are the things I don't want. What are the options that we have? I get the samples in, like this is a sample of my hoodie, wearing it, making sure, when I wash it, it doesn't roll, it doesn't peak, it doesn't fade, and it's perfect, how everything goes. But as we continue to grow and I go into cut and sew, which is, me basically designing everything from scratch, it will be a completely contemporary line. So, there will be power suits for women. There will be suits made for men. There will be trench coats. There will be, shirts, like even like the type of shirt that you have on. That's the direction that I'm going.
Oh, you like my style, huh? You like my style. Yeah, you like my style, Sydney.
But I've always been that type. Like, I've always loved expensive things. I've always loved designer, luxurious things. That's always been so, like, just beautiful to me. And when I started to sing the crossover into streetwear, what basically in the past, 5 to 8 years, I've just fallen in love with it. And that's the direction that I want to go. And I'm most comfortable with it. Yes, it's going to be challenging because a lot of this stuff, I might have to go back to school to really learn the different, aspects of fibers and how different things lie on the body and what's more comfortable. And I'm okay with that because this is me, putting into my craft so that I can multiply it. But I'm really, really excited about it, and excited about just the specifics, the details that makes my clothing, and really putting that into the perspective of the details that makes us. And I don't think we really pay a lot of attention to that, but there's so many details that goes into our making that makes us this whole body, this beautiful being. And that's the translation.
Is your website up yet?
It is. It's
is?
godly. Yeah, it's GodLuxuryCo.com. We launched last Wednesday.
Okay. And I'm not even going to talk about, I'm mad at that too, but that's okay. That's all right,
I did everything on my own. Everything. I shot everything. I had to pivot because I got sick. I got really sick a few weeks before, and so I had to really pivot on getting this done because I was just so set for that date. So I did everything on my own. All the stuff, I shot everything.
Yeah, you can talk your way out of it.
I did. I really
did. Your way.
It was difficult. I cannot tell you a story. It was so difficult, but I used my iPhone to shoot all the products on there. Like I did. I mean, everything you see, I shot it. Everything you see, I shot it on my phone. Everything. I mean, so you learn to pivot. You really do.
Look at you.
I had to be my own model. I even had to be my own model.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So GodLuxuryCo.com.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. This site. This site fits you, Sydney. I mean, it really does. Like
you're like the third person that said that.
Yeah, it fits you. It goes like you got some people, right? You got some people that just need bling, like they need it, like they and there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, in a world of bling, the simple stands out.
Yeah.
Right.
That's me.
In a world of, wait a minute. Sydney, I understand you it's godly luxury, but a varsity hat, $44.
Listen,
now what is that? What's that hat made out of? What's the hat made out of? Now I'm just joking with you, but what is it? What's the material?
It's on the page. I believe I listed it on the page.
Because trust me. 100% unstructured soft crown. Okay.
Yeah.
White and okay. Now I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can see that now.
The making of it was
So that hat ain't gonna lose form.
It's not ever. It will last you. It will last you for a while. Yeah.
It's not gonna lose. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now. All right. I thought you was trying. Thought you was trying to sell me one of them hats that they be selling in the gas station for.
Those trucker hats.
Yeah. I thought you was trying to get over on me, Sydney, but nah.
No,
That's a
no.
that's a. I like that design. That I like
Thank
that.
you. I
I
really
like.
put like just I took every bit of experience, my experience from working at Nordstrom, my experience with owning a clothing brand. Like I took everything that I had in me and I put it to this. Like I put it toward this clothing line. I considered everything, not just the message of it, but the quality of it, how it will last, like, just everything, like the t-shirts, like you wash them and they're still in the same state as when you first received it in your package. That's
So
big for me.
so no bacon neck.
No bacon neck. Nope. Nope,
Okay.
never. These t-shirts will last you for as long as you desire them to last you, and you take care of them. You have to take care of your items, and you have to. Some people just don't take care of their stuff for whatever reason.
Right.
But if you take care of it, it will last you forever. I really put everything into this clothing line, and so I'm not ashamed of my prices whatsoever. I'm not one of those brands that's just going to be throwing out discounts here and there, because I'm setting the standard for where I'm going, because those prices are going to increase as I go. And I'm not ashamed to say that, but that's just what I want, what I see for it.
Hey, listen. Right now, everything that you do, even though you're doing them on, semi bulk level, it's still custom right now. Like
Everything.
everything, is custom.
Absolutely.
So you're not, it's not an assembly line type of product at this particular moment.
No.
So that means there are more man hours that go into creating your clothing right now than right. There are more man hours. So
Yes.
with more man hours, there's a higher price tag to it. Like period. Like for example, we buy the Italian men, like when we go out and we get the Italian leather shoes, right?
Oh my
We're,
goodness.
we're gonna pay a pretty penny because those are handmade,
Made. Yes,
right?
absolutely.
They're handmade,
Yes.
not necessary. And to me, handmade is better because the person making it pays attention to detail.
To every detail.
Right, to detail, right? But
Yeah.
when it's made on an assembly line thing, now it may be precise.
Right.
It may be precise. The stitching may be precise,
Right.
but the detail ain't the same.
Nope.
It's
Nope.
almost like, I tell you what it's like. It's like going to hear a band and they playing like the drums on an electronic kit, or going to hear a band that's playing the
Right.
real
The real
drums.
drums. Different
Right.
experiences.
Totally different experience, right? Totally different feeling and everything. Like just everything is different about it, right? So to me, I know when I got on something handmade,
Right.
it just feels different.
Absolutely.
And maybe the person that made that is a transference of energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like
Yes.
it's a transference of energy. And if they made it and everything is right, then they were happy when they did it.
Yeah.
They were in a good state when they did it,
Yeah.
because everything is right. I know
Yeah.
when I cut the grass, right?
Yes. You
Like when
got
I
your
cut the grass,
pattern.
right? I got my pattern, but after it's all said and done, I got to go out to the road and look at it.
Yeah.
You right? I gotta look at it. Like I gotta look at the grass and be like, yeah, I did that. You know what I mean? So anybody that come in my yard after I cut my grass, they gonna feel that energy that I left, because that was a happy
Right.
energy. So I get you. And look, when I said something about the $44, I'm joking with you,
I
Sydney.
know you're kidding, but
I'm
it's been conversations, like when I launched it,
mhm.
people like, I don't know why. I'm like, not even to set that example, but if you go and you stand in line at Louis Vuitton store and you spend over $1,000 for a bag, it's the same thing. The only difference
Mhm.
is I'm not established. So that's what you are basically doing to set me apart. And I've had to have these conversations. I'm just to the point where I'm just like, whatever. I knew you were kidding. Like, that's just a part of the conversation. But these are things that has actually come out of people's mouths. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's just you having a conversation with me about something that's not going to change. So it goes back to, what am I going to spend my energy on? And it's not this, because I'm not changing kids.
Listen. Nobody can tell me what my creation is worth.
Nobody, not one
You can't.
person.
You can't tell me. Now,
Not
you
one
may not
person.
be able to afford me.
Right. That's the right.
You may not be able to afford me, but you ain't gonna dictate to me what my creation is worth. Like, you're not gonna do
Right.
that.
I mean,
Look,
I put so much into it. Like, when down to how I package it, I handwrite all of my thank you. Every order that I've sent out, I've handwritten my thank you cards just for appreciation, because I put everything into it that I would want. I give what I would desire. I do that for my consumer. And so I put a lot of time from the moment it comes out of my mind onto some paper, when it's being, manufactured, when my product is being put together, the fabrics are coming together to make my t-shirts or my sweatpants or whatever. I'm in it the entire time. So there's never a moment that my hands are not on something. And so, with that love, that's what I'm giving you. So it's just a matter of, can you afford me? Because I can't just water myself down so that you can afford me. I've done that before, and it didn't serve anybody.
well, I'm like this. I kind of am taken aback when someone comes and they want to use my services and they want a break,
Right.
right? And I'm not taken aback because they want a break. I'm not. Everybody want a break. Everybody want. You go get a car. You want to break from the sticker price. Like, you don't want to pay. You don't want to pay that. You don't want to pay that. You like, come on. What can you do for me? You know what I mean?
You justify this price.
Right.
We need a
Right.
discount.
Like, come on now. Let. I know that's the price, but what can you do for me? Right. Right. But what I hate most about that is I like helping people.
Yeah.
Right. I like helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And let me give you the break first. Right?
Your choice. Your choice.
Yeah, let you know what I mean? Because then it's a mutual thing, like, meaning that you needed a break and I want to help you out with it. Right? Even though I may not know you needed that break.
Right.
Right. But don't come to me and be like, come on, brother, give me a break. I'm gonna bring a whole lot of people your way. I
should be an ambassador.
Right. Like, look, because this is what I say. If my work is good, you can't deny me. Somebody gonna ask you, who did that?
Very true.
Who did that? Like, if your work is good and your clothing is good, people are like, where you get that from? Because you can't deny it.
You're right.
Like, when you put your love and your heart and soul into something, no one can deny it.
It's original. You can't find it anywhere else either.
Nope.
You can't go to another place and say, well, I can find you cheaper. You can't, because this came from me. This didn't come from a Pinterest board, or this ideal didn't just come. This came out of me. So there's no other place you can find this. This gift is unique to
you
this.
can find you may find something like this,
right?
But not this.
Exactly. not this.
You may get a Louis Vuitton, but not a Louis Vuitton.
There we go. It's different experiences.
Exactly.
Different. You can't compare the other. You just can't. It's either you got it or you don't.
You got it right. But Sydney, I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you for just not caving in. Not caving into doubts. See, you see a lot of times where people say, if you ain't got no haters, then you ain't doing something right. And I'm like, that's stupid.
It's so crazy. Like, where'd that come from?
Like I gotta have people hate me to be doing something right. Like that's stupid. Like why would you even come up with a saying like that, right? But that's because we're
Yeah.
backwards. We're living backwards.
Yeah.
Like just and when I say we're living backwards, instead of people, because I know you don't want people to patronize you out of pity. You want them to
No.
patronize you because they think that your clothing is dope.
You
Like
were led. You were absolutely led to me, and
right.
you feel that this isn't. Yes, absolutely,
This is for you. I want to rock this. I want to, that's what I
absolutely.
want to do, right? But when you get people who, first of all, I don't want anyone to use me because I'm family, I'm black, I'm from Kings Mountain, I'm from North. None of that. Like that's because those things are subject to change. Meaning that maybe you where you like me, you use me because I'm black, and I may have said something, and now I ain't black enough, so now you ain't gonna use me, right? Like
Exactly,
right,
exactly,
right, or
exactly.
maybe you use me because I'm from Kings Mountain,
Hmm.
but you found
Y'all
out
don't live there.
that I don't live there no more, or you found out that I grew up in Pine Manor. Oh, we can't right? We can't rock with you no more. But one thing that's not gonna change and that you can't deny is the skill.
That's it.
You can't deny that. So if
No,
you like me because of my work,
absolutely.
then all those other things don't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't
It doesn't
matter.
matter.
That's
So
a box, and I
when
hate boxes.
uh,
Yeah, it's another box. It's another box. Doris, it's another box, and I hate boxes. Like I don't like when people say go support this black business. I'm just like, it really, it just. I'm like, don't do that, because I don't want people just to buy my clothing because I'm black. Like, I don't want, that's not how I want to set the standard. I have not promoted my business in that way. In any way, shape, or form have I done that. In any way, shape, or form will I ever do that. I am a business. I am an entrepreneur. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a woman, that I'm black, that my hair is short, that I'm 6 feet tall. It has nothing to do with any of those things. Just like you said, it's the skill, it's the very essence of my gift that is being displayed in what I do. And you're not going to be able to find it anywhere else, because I am a one off. I'm a one
right.
off. Out of all the 8 billion people you said are here, we're all different. You are not going to find anybody else from here all the way to Japan. That's me. We originated from the same place, but I am so uniquely made that this can't even be duplicated, not even remotely close.
Right. And look, the closest thing you're gonna get to that is godly luxury.
Absolutely.
Right? The closest thing that you're gonna get to
Absolutely.
experiencing the Sydney Nicole is godly
Absolutely.
luxury. The closest thing that
Absolutely.
you're gonna get to experiencing Dolores Wilson is through DC Graphics. Like
Absolutely.
and through my gift. Like and I understand that. But like I said, or was beginning to say, I did a monologue, or not a monologue. I did the end of the speech, and I said, "Look, I understand the concept of supporting black businesses. I understand that concept. Like I definitely do. But there's two sides of the coin of that. Okay, you want me to support you, but you gotta be giving me the same service, the same quality, the same everything as that I can get out there in the industry.
Right.
So in essence, if you are in the same price, because in essence, if you are a black owned business, or if you're a person with a black person with a business, then you got a price match, right? And when I mean price match, I don't necessarily mean setting your prices the same as everybody else, which you
Right.
should, but the quality of your stuff.
Right.
needs to be equal as out there too. You can't don't tell me to support your business and I bought a shirt from you and it's $40 and the stitching is all off. Like no, don't. But I'm supposed to let that go because you black.
No, that's been the conversation, and it's been so entertaining to watch because during this time, that has been like a big part of the conversation. Like, of course, support Black businesses. Let's put Black businesses, and then they started doing all these riots, and Black businesses was being looted, and all. And the whole conversation started, and they were talking about, well, it's hard for me to support Black people because Black people, they'll sell you something, but you don't get what you buy. And so it's just like, if you stop looking at the fact that they're Black and start looking at their skills, if you start looking at their business, you will see already, not because they're Black or anything, their customer service is not good. Or, they purchase from somebody who has terrible product.
Right. Or their supply chain is messed up. The supply chain is messed up. Right.
Let's take away, if we stop looking so much, don't buy from me because I'm Black. Look at the quality of my clothes. Go look at my reviews. Have I done any videos? Go look at what my clothing looks like. What does that look like? Can you go talk to somebody? Like, what is their customer service? How long did it take you to get your package? Those are the things that I want you to factor into my business. Those are the only things. Don't say, oh, she's a Black woman, or she got 15,000 followers on Instagram. Those things don't matter at all.
You got 15,000 followers?
They don't matter at all. I mean, I love them. I love my
Wait a minute though. You got 15,000 followers?
No, Instagram.
You do? You better repost this podcast on. Nah.
I didn't post it. Right. I really am, because Instagram is like my biggest platform. Like, I love Facebook, but Facebook I keep because a lot of what I do, like through the ministry, is like done through Facebook, and of course, like now for my business, right? But Instagram has
ambiguity,
always been like my biggest
keep some ambiguity,
right? But Instagram has always been my biggest platform, so it's just those things don't matter, because when it boils down to it, that's just what it is. It's just a follower. You know what I'm saying? So in the way the algorithms and things are doing, it just doesn't matter. But it's just like, there's different ways that you can look at somebody's business to say, okay, you can charge $1,000 because I really got what I paid for.
I got what I paid for.
But had I paid $1,000 and I got $200 worth,
hey, as one of Tracy's, my wife's classmates may say, if I paid $1,000 for something and I didn't get what I was expecting, I'm gonna be 38 hot, like 38 hot. I'm gonna be hot. I'm gonna be 38 hot.
Yes, it's upsetting. It's upsetting.
And you know what it is for me too, because when you buy something, the excitement of it, like the excitement of getting that thing, it's just because you at that particular point you don't really care about how much you paid for it, because you're excited to get it.
Absolutely.
But if you get it and it ain't what you expected, now and I paid $1,000.
And I can't return this. What's the return policy?
Right. What's the return?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I can't stand getting something and it don't reach my expectation. Like I can't stand. Now my expectation is, and my wife always say this is funny. My wife say, you buy cheap, you get cheap.
You do. That is very true.
You buy cheap, you get cheap. Now me, I'm the type of person, no lie, Sydney, I'm the type of person that when I was coming up, if I needed a shirt, right, I would go to Kmart and get me a shirt, right? Yeah. I would go and I rock that shirt. I would rock it. But you can't rock it long, because after one wash, it's a wrap.
It's gone.
Like it's a wrap, right? So and you think you're saving money because it's cheap.
You wasted it. You wasted money.
And you're paying more money because you got to buy more of those things.
More. Yep.
Right? Yep. So once I got old and started learning, I said, okay, I'll pay $70, $80 for a shirt, because that shirt gonna rock with me for a good. It's gonna last. It better.
Because if it don't, I need the
If
return
it don't, I need that return policy. Me and my friend Leslie Curl, right? When we was in the Navy, we used to go to Foot Locker. We go to Foot Locker, and this is 20 years, so hopefully the statute of limitation done ran out. But we would go to Foot Locker, and we would buy some sneakers, right? And the guy at Foot Locker, I don't know if he meant to tell us, but he told us, he said, you know that if you're playing basketball in these sneakers and the stitching come out at any time, the life of these sneakers, Nike will replace them with new sneakers. If the stitching come out, right? That is the Nike guarantee. If you bust out of these shoes, they will give you a brand new pair. That's Nike guarantee, right? Now that's a good thing.
It's a beautiful thing. That speaks highly of what their brand stands for.
And they standing behind their brand, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm 22 years old. I'm in the Navy. I'm 22, and I done played basketball in these shoes for about a good month, right? So me and my friend Leslie Curl, we get the toenail clippers, and we snip a couple of the threads, Sydney. Just we didn't cut it, but we just snip it, and then we went out and played in it. We went out and played, and now that I think about it, I was like, what if somebody would do that to me in business?
Absolutely.
Like take a flyer that I designed for them, right? And repurpose it and just, keep getting but I was no excuses.
Right.
No excuses. But I was young. But that taught me something though. That taught me to stand behind your brand because Nike, they don't know me,
right?
Like they didn't know me, but they knew their brand. They knew what they had,
absolutely.
Right? They knew exactly what they had, and they knew that not many people are gonna, if they're honest, they're not gonna bust out of these sneakers because the way that we made them, right?
Absolutely.
If they're honest, not many people are gonna break out of these sneakers because of we know how we made these sneakers, right?
Absolutely.
But if you stand by your brand, you will have loyal customers.
Absolutely.
Right? You will have loyal, and you know how I know? Because up until about 2 years ago, I only bought Nikes. From 21 to 50, I only bought Nikes.
Yeah.
That was it. Right. I didn't buy anything else. In between that time, I may bought some Reeboks. You know what I mean? Maybe. But for the most part, it was all Nike. And that was because they stood behind their brand for one thing. They had quality product, like it was quality. Like Nike's.
Okay. They got good shoes.
You can have Nikes. When we were growing up, you can have Nikes so long that they would curl up, but they wouldn't break. Like they will wrinkle up, but they ain't gonna break. Right?
But they might wrinkle up.
They might wrinkle, but they gonna be there. They gonna be there.
Else.
They gotta go nowhere, So
that's true.
If you stand behind your brand, you'll have loyal customers, man. Yeah. So, just keep doing what you do, and I truly believe that you're called to do something, and you're answering that call now. Like you're answering that call, and I just want to implore you to understand that it's a long distance call, right? Like it's a long distance call. Like the call is long distance. So don't expect a short conversation.
Absolutely. It's every single day is continuous. Every single day.
Right.
Every single day.
like, some people, they get into their calling, and they start out, and
Yep.
they kind of start out with their expectation that just because it's a calling, that it's going to be easy, or it's going to be quick, or it's going to be like, just like that. And it's not like that. Like,
No,
it's not like that. Like,
it's not
your calling is
lifelong.
lifelong, and it's your calling, but it's for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
We
know,
are
it,
resources. Yeah. I say that all
yeah,
the time.
it's your calling. That's your call, but it's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
And and once you realize that, that should give you the gumption to keep going, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think you have realized that. And I like the the syllabus. Oh no, I like the courses that you have taken to get to this particular stage of your clothing line and your branding and your professional. I like the courses that you took to get here. You know what I mean?
I couldn't have done it by like I couldn't have done this on my own. I know I did. I've made so many mistakes, but the redirection and the realignment and even the divine connections that just came in their perfect timing to get me to this place. Because I mean, just having my leaders, your wife, my Apostle Gladys, having those people in my life to help guide me through this. Because we can't do these things on our own. We cannot do it on our own. And I think that's one of the things people they get a call and they try to run off with it, and not knowing that this is lifelong, not knowing that God is huge on relationship. And so those relationships come with those, people in your life to help govern this, call that's on your life, because you really, really can't do it by yourself. So I'm very grateful. I mean, just to be in this place and to be on my journey, and it's not easy. It's not
Right.
easy. I have to wake up every single day intentional about it, telling myself and sometimes reminding myself of my purpose and of my call, and sticking with it on the days where I don't want to, because I have my
Hmm.
days. And it would be unrealistic for me to say that, oh, it's easy, it's just nothing. It's not easy. Some days you wake up and you don't want to do it, but that's where that discipline comes in. That's where all of those things, that true depth of who you are starts to kick in, when you can beat those feelings and those emotions and not be ruled by them, and continue to move forward in your purpose.
I don't care who I interview. I can interview a fitness trainer. I can interview a writer. I can interview a playwright, a real estate investor. I can interview a financial investor, or a financial coach. And that one word is prominent in everybody, and that's discipline. Like,
Absolutely.
in every interview that I've ever had, discipline has came up. Every interview, right? So, like, I think we use the word discipline.
Hmm.
Like, I think we use it. We
Hmm.
use the word,
Hmm.
but we don't use discipline.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's a big thing. Absolutely.
Right. We use the word, but we don't use discipline, because discipline is basically checking yourself.
Yep.
That
Yep.
it's checking yourself. Like,
Yep.
you ain't supposed to be doing that, right? Like,
Yep.
you're right. Like,
Yep. You're
you
right.
right. You know you ain't supposed to be doing that, right? Like,
Yep.
or you notice what you're supposed to be doing,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
So that word discipline is very big, and
Yeah.
it's not funny that you say that, but I'm seeing that is a common thing in anything that you
Yeah.
do, like discipline. So, once again, look, man, we've been on this thing for almost an hour and a
I
half. Look,
know.
and that's not even including the like 20 minutes in the green room. Like,
Every
Yo, Sydney, you talk too much. Sydney, you talk too much.
I've been told, I've been told to be a little chatty Cathy. But you know what?
Look at you. That's your mama coming out of you right there. Chatty Cathy, okay. But
I was
look,
created this way.
right. Look, I enjoy every time you and I you get the opportunity to converse. So
Thank you.
and once again, the whole purpose of behind this podcast is that I know a lot of dope people, and I get to experience them, and I want other people to experience the dopeness that the people that I know, like yourself, like who may not even get to experience your dopeness because they may live in DC or they are in Texas or something, but they can experience it through this broadcast. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you.
I am. We talked about your clothing brand and your modeling. Yeah, those are what you do. I'm more interested in showing people who you are.
Yeah.
Right, like that's what I want to know, because who you are, if they connect with who you are, then they're gonna support what you do.
Absolutely.
Right, they're gonna support what you do. So,
Thank you.
I'm gonna go on your site. I'm gonna get me a $44 hat.
Okay.
I'm gonna get me a hat, and when you start getting more to your catalog, I want to bring you back so we can we can showcase some stuff.
Okay.
We can show people what godly luxury is really about, and they get to see it in the flesh. Now, if you're looking for some models, I can,
I'll call you.
That means you ain't gonna call. That's what that means. You ain't gonna call. I ain't gonna get no call. That's okay. But look, this summer you're gonna call me because I'm gonna have my summer body. I'm gonna be ready. You're gonna call me this summer. I'm gonna be ready.
I'm like, Lord have mercy.
I'm gonna be ready. You're gonna call me and I'm gonna be rocking godly luxury. I'm gonna be the look, I'm not just gonna be a model, I'm gonna be like the brand ambassador.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
But Sydney, I enjoyed the conversation. I hope everyone that watched enjoyed it as well. It's very refreshing to see a young lady like yourself that's taking a leap and saying and answering her call and not being fearful and just doing what you know that you're called to do. That's very admirable of you, and just keep pushing. Just keep pushing.
Thank you so much.
Don't thank me. Thank you. Thank you, because it's your call is like a river.
Absolutely.
And throughout that call, you may be flowing and come to dam. And that dam is trying to restrict your movement, like it's trying to restrict you from flowing the way that you want to flow. But if you keep pushing, the levees will break. Right? The levees will break. If you keep pushing, the levees will break. And I see you breaking a lot of levees.
Thank you. I received that. And I decree that over myself. I will break all of the levees.
Okay. So I'm gonna do my outro, but stick around, and I want to come back. I want to ask you something, but I'm gonna do the outro, and I'm gonna come back to you. But everyone, Miss Sydney Nicole, GodLuxuryCo.com. Yes, that was Sydney Nicole. Beautiful soul, nice young lady. Very proper. And when I mean proper, I mean like she's refined, and you don't find that a lot in today's society, especially when you have people who actually go after, and I'm not gonna say dream, I'm gonna say go after their calling, like go after what they are passionate about, because most of the time in going after what you're passionate about, it involves a level of discomfort that we don't want to experience. Like we don't want to experience that discomfort. We rather just get a check every Friday and be miserable from Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? And then try to drown the pain away on the weekend, and then go back and do it all over. But I would rather be miserable answering my call than to be miserable because I'm doing something that I feel like I gotta do, meaning that I have no other choice. I got a choice. We all have choices. If you I'm telling this to everyone, if you have a calling on your life, or if you have a desire or something that's urging you to do something, do not suppress it. Do not suppress it. Even if you don't attack it full-fledged, at least investigate it. Like at least just try to figure out something about it. But if you suppress it, if you suppress it, there's going to be times in your life where you're going to look back and you say, I should have. And that may not even be true within itself. That may not be with the, maybe you shouldn't have, but because you didn't, it's always going to be a doubt in the back of your mind because you didn't, So with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the interview. I really did. It's always enjoyable talking to Sydney. So I like talking to her when we get the opportunity to converse. Oh, I gotta stop doing this. Sydney, you gotta come back. You gotta come back. I gotta stop doing this. I really do. Yeah, put your headphones on because God.
What we missed.
So before my guests leave the studio, I have a tradition that I ask them two questions like that. I got two questions. And here lately, I just been skipping this segment, and I can't skip the segment. So the first question is, what are you doing to push the culture forward?
What am I doing to push the culture forward? So as far as the culture is concerned, the one thing that I'm doing to push that, not necessarily that like that, I hate to use that word culture, but what I am doing is I'm becoming within myself. I'm becoming the standard. I am setting that standard within myself to be able to be displayed, because everything isn't done by me, it's done by spirit too. So when I'm positioned, but my main thing is staying on my journey. My main thing is going after my call, my purpose, and really just being in that place. But I'm not so much of a person that's pushing forward a particular culture. The only culture that I really am for is kingdom culture. That's really what I stand for. That's really what I believe in. And so that's ultimately what I'm going to continue to push forward. Because culture in itself is made by man. And I know that my true identity is in my divinity. And so that's really what I flow out of, and I try to remain flowing out of. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Great answer. So now my second one is, I need for you to name me 3 famous Black people, and they can't be athletes or entertainers.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God! You can't do this. Is the Black Research Institute, Sydney.
Harriet Tubman.
Okay, I get it. That's a good one.
Um, why is this so difficult? Okay, it's difficult because I can give you all entertain, like that's just I don't know. Harriet Tubman and oh my God, it's coming short. What is his name? This is so bad. Don't judge me. Oh my gosh, I'm literally running for a blank. I have a dream. I know this is bad. I know this is so bad.
No, it ain't. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I'm running for. I'm going blank. What is Nelson Mandela and
Okay, that's a good one.
Martin Luther King?
Okay, all right. So Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
All right, those three great people. So when you come back, you can't use those people. Like you got to give me three more. So so that shows me you haven't been listening to the broadcast to the end. So that's great. Like I hope all my guests don't listen to the end. Like I don't want them to. I don't want them to come here. I got my answers ready. I'm ready. Like I'm ready. Right? And let me tell you the reason why I do that segment. I do that segment because I want people to know how less we actually know about each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're taught in school about every other culture. Like if I would have told you, name me three famous white people, and they can't be entertainers or whatever. You could name Bill Gates, you can name Ben Franklin, you can name Abraham Lincoln, you can name all these people because we were taught this, right? But we're not taught that. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Yeah, yes, you could.
I am not good with names. I'm not good with names. Now, have you put their face in front of me? I'm like, oh, okay, I know their name. I'm just not really good with names, so that's why it's hard for me to process names. Like when I think of, like if I even think of an actor, I name the actor by the character that they play. So
right.
I say, oh, that's Spider-Man. Like, no, he has a name. I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, you like that commercial. Oh, this is a nice Buick. No, this is an Alexa.
Yes.
right. Because the dude is describing the car by what it does. The woman is actually telling the name of the car, right? Hey, Sydney. So you can't. So I'm gonna bring you back on. So you get your three. I'm gonna bring you back on, and you can't use Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, or Harriet Tubman. Okay. All right. So hold back. Let me do my outro, and I come right back. All right. I gotta stop. I'm forgetting that segment for some reason, and I like that segment because I think it's important. But everyone, I hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. I really did. Miss Sydney Nicole, her company is GodLuxuryCo.com. Go check her out, man. And if you like what you see on her site, then by all means, put it in the cart and check out, right? And if you don't, then don't. It's really that simple. And so I wish everyone a good night. And remember, in order for you to receive a blessing, you must first be a blessing. All right, everybody. Peace.